Here's your financial news summary for Monday, August 11th. Nvidia and AMD have reached a highly unusual agreement with the Trump administration, securing export licenses to ship chips to China in exchange for handing over 15% of their China-generated revenues to the U.S. government. The move marks an extraordinary step in Washington's tightening semiconductor policy and comes as the Biden-Trump transition heats up critical trade policy debates ahead of the November elections. Analysts view the deal as both a strategic concession and a potential precedent for future tech export controls. The story was first reported by the Financial Times and confirmed through separate Bloomberg reporting. Meanwhile, Pimco CEO Manny Roman has raised a red flag on private markets, cautioning that many investment products in this space are untested and could face serious strain if a recession arrives. Speaking to the Financial Times, Roman noted that investors should adopt a more skeptical stance and focus on what could go wrong at a time when valuations remain stretched and liquidity limited. In corporate litigation, Italian shipbuilding giant Fincantieri is suing a U.S. supplier, claiming over $100 million in damages caused by insulation materials that were allegedly certified fraudulently. The legal dispute centers on the quality of critical materials used in naval vessels and poses questions about cross-border defense supply chain oversight. The global energy sector is undergoing a strategic pivot. Major oil and gas firms are now intensifying their hunt for hydrocarbon reserves as the energy transition to renewables proves slower than projected. After years emphasizing green investments, recent earnings from giants like BP, Shell, and Exxon suggest a return to prioritizing long-term oil and gas infrastructure to hedge against future supply volatility. In Spain, an overachievement in renewable energy rollout has ironically started to backfire. The surge in solar power has driven daytime electricity prices to record lows, dragging returns on investment and stressing the grid. Now, Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez faces hard choices in managing a renewable system running far ahead of policy and infrastructure coordination. That paradox of progress could serve as a case study for green transitions elsewhere. And nuclear energy is inching back. 3 U.S.-based developers of small modular reactors are seeking a combined $500 million from SPAC deals, hoping to capitalize on renewed investor enthusiasm for atomic energy's zero-emissions profile. These startups are racing to commercialize SMR designs amid a broader reassessment of nuclear's role in reaching climate goals. In the geopolitical arena, ahead of a high-stakes summit in Alaska between Trump and Putin, European allies pressed Washington to harden sanctions pressure on the Kremlin and avoid any territorial exchange arrangements that could suggest legitimizing Russian gains in Ukraine. The EU also floated redirecting frozen Russian sovereign assets toward long-term aid for Kyiv. Markets this morning reflect cautious optimism. U.S. tech stocks led gains, with the Nasdaq up nearly 1%. European equities traded mixed, while Brent crude slid nearly 0.5%. U.S. Treasury yields held steady. This summary incorporates reporting from the Financial Times, Bloomberg, Reuters, and the Wall Street Journal.